Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely. If you're broke, it's not just about money, it's about your mentality. Broke isn't just the absence of dollars, it's the absence of purpose, ambition, and balls. You weren't born poor, you were born naked. Poor is what you accepted. Broke is what you allowed. Let me tell you something no school, no college, no motivational YouTube guru will teach you. Nobody is coming to save you. There's no knight in shining armor, no lottery, no government, no job promotion that will make you rich. Only you, only pain, only effort. The matrix, the system wants you weak, soft, distracted. They want you spending hours scrolling on, watching nonsense, worshipping celebrities who don't even know your name, while your life rots in mediocrity. Being broke is not simply about lacking money in your bank account. That's the symptom, not the cause. The real poverty begins in the mind. Being broke is a mindset, a belief system, a daily decision to accept less than you're capable of. And if you're stuck there, it means you've built a routine around it. You've accepted it as your identity. There are people in the world right now who were born with absolutely nothing. No family inheritance, no support system, no education. And they still found a way to rise. Why? Because they refused to accept the idea that they were supposed to stay broke. They didn't wait for someone to lift them up. They rewired their minds first. They got angry at their circumstances. They trained their thoughts to align with wealth, not with struggle. That's the reality. You can't think like a broke man and expect to live like a rich one. You can't walk around saying, "I'm just not good with money," or "rich people got lucky," and then complain when you're stuck in the same place year after year. Every time you repeat a limiting belief like that, you're reinforcing your mental prison. You're programming your subconscious to believe that you're destined to struggle, and that's exactly what your actions will reflect. People talk about poverty as if it's always forced on them by outside forces. Yes, sometimes you start in a bad position, but whether you stay there, that's on you. The man who wakes up broke today but refuses to stay broke tomorrow is already more powerful than the man who's rich but lazy. Why? Because fire is building inside him, a mindset of growth, of war, of domination. It starts with accountability. The mindset of a broke man blames everything: family, school, the government, their boss, even the weather. The mindset of a future millionaire says, "It's my fault I'm here, but it's also my responsibility to get out." That shift alone changes your energy. You go from victim to creator, from pawn to king. The broke man thinks money is evil. He repeats what his broke parents and broke teachers told him: money won't buy happiness. The wealthy thinker knows that money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy freedom, options, power, safety, and impact. And all of those things can lead to a happy life if you use them with purpose. The man with a broke mindset spends what little he has trying to look rich. Designer clothes, new phones, weekend drinks. Why? Because he's trying to escape the reality of his financial life instead of facing it head on. The wealthy-minded man lives like a Spartan while he builds. He doesn't care about opinions. He's focused on empire, on investing, on planting seeds. He understands that discipline is more valuable than dopamine. Look at how you speak. Do you talk like a winner or like a whiner? Look at how you spend your time. Do you consume or create? Look at how you respond to adversity. Do you adapt, or do you cry and scroll TikTok hoping someone else will figure it out? It's all mindset. Success is 90% internal. Everything external, money, cars, houses, followers, are the result of internal programming, and if you don't reprogram yourself, life will do it for you. You'll be conditioned by broke people, living in broke environments, repeating broke behaviors. The algorithm won't save you, your friends won't save you, your job won't save you, your attitude will. You want to stop being broke? Start by acting like a man who refuses to stay that way. Wake up early even if you're tired. Learn skills even if it's hard. Shut your mouth and listen to people doing better than you. Don't speak unless it's valuable. Don't complain unless you're also building. Don't chase women or distractions. Chase excellence and let results speak. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people are too emotionally attached to being broke. It's all they've ever known. Struggle is familiar. Struggle is safe. Success, that's scary. That requires work. That requires changing your identity, killing the soft version of yourself, and stepping into the cold world where only the strong eat. And not everyone's ready for that. but you must be. Refusing to be broke is not about greed. It's about refusing weakness, refusing to die like everyone else who played it safe. It's about understanding that wealth is your duty, not just a luxury. If you become rich, you can protect your family, build a legacy, help others, fund dreams, but if you stay broke, you can't even save yourself. So burn the broke identity every day with every action. Get angry when you waste time. Get focused when you're tired. Speak like a warrior, work like a machine, think like a king, because no one in this world will take you seriously until you take your own power seriously. It all begins in the mind. The question is, have you made the decision yet? Money isn't just a tool for buying things. It's not just about status symbols or flashy cars. It's about freedom, real freedom. The kind of freedom most men will never experience because they've been taught to see money as something bad, something to fear, or something impossible to get unless you're born lucky. But here's the truth: without money, your options in life are limited. Without money, your voice is weaker. Without money, your life is controlled by bosses, bills, systems, and schedules. You think you're free just because you can walk outside when you want. You're not free. You're a slave to the next paycheck. You're a slave to the alarm clock. You're a slave to fear. The fear of being broke, the fear of debt, the fear of missing a rent payment. That's not freedom. That's financial captivity. Money buys back your time, and time is the most valuable currency on this planet. You only get so much of it. Every second you spend working a job you hate, sitting in traffic, obeying orders, or clocking in and out like a robot, you are trading your most valuable asset, your time, for pennies. The man who controls his money controls his life. He chooses what he does with his day. He chooses who he talks to, where he lives, how he lives, and when he works. He doesn't answer to anyone unless he wants to. That's real power. That's real freedom. Without money, even the most talented man is just a cog in someone else's machine. Your ideas don't matter when you're broke. Your creativity, your dreams, your passion, all of it gets buried under the weight of survival. And that's what most people live for: survival, not growth, not impact, not legacy, just enough to get by, enough to keep the lights on and hope nothing breaks down this month. That's not living, that's barely existing. Understand this: money is not evil, being broke is not noble, poverty doesn't make you a better person, struggle doesn't build character unless you learn from it and rise above it. People who glorify being broke usually have no plan. They use virtue as a mask for laziness and fear. Don't fall into that trap. Money is neutral. It amplifies who you are. If you're good, it gives you more reach to do good. If you're disciplined, it gives you more power to build. If you're weak, it exposes your weakness. Now ask yourself, what could you do if you never had to worry about money again? Who could you become if you weren't tied down by debt, rent, or monthly anxiety? How much more energy would you have to build something meaningful, help your family, or chase purpose instead of chasing approval? That's the power of financial freedom. It gives you back your energy, your attention, your ability to dream again. Look around you. The world is designed to keep you dependent. The education system doesn't teach wealth. It teaches obedience. Memorize, pass the test, get a job. Stay in debt, pay taxes, retire at 65 if you're lucky. That's the plan they feed you. A life where you trade 40 years for 10 years of weak, broken freedom. That's a scam. If you want to be free, you need money. And if you want money, you need skills, discipline, and mindset. You need to outwork, outsmart, and outlast everyone around you. You need to see every hour of your day as an investment, not entertainment. You don't get rich watching Netflix. You don't build wealth chasing dopamine. You build wealth by doing what others won't so you can live how others can't. Financial freedom means you can protect the people you love. You don't have to say, "Sorry, I can't help." You can say, "Don't worry, I've got this." That's real power. It means your children don't have to suffer the same way you did. Your parents can live in peace. You can travel, build businesses, invest in others, and give your family choices instead of chains. The man who is financially free is dangerous because he cannot be controlled. He doesn't care about opinions. He doesn't bend to pressure. He walks into any room and commands respect because he answers to no one. He has power in silence. His time is his weapon. His wall, it is his sword. So stop pretending money doesn't matter. That's what losers do to feel better about doing nothing. Start building. Start learning how the money game works. Learn to sell. Learn to market. Learn to lead. Invest every second of your time into leveling up. You can't buy freedom with hope. You buy it with action, results, and relentless hustle. Freedom isn't given to you, it's earned, and in this world money is the price, so pay it, because dying rich isn't just about luxury. It's about winning the war against the system designed to keep you average. Refuse to die broke and refuse to die a slave. The system you were raised in was never designed to make you rich. Understand that deeply. From the moment you entered a classroom, you were being prepared to serve, not to lead. They didn't teach you how to start a business, how to manage cash flow, how to build an audience, or how to invest. They taught you to sit still, follow orders, memorize useless facts, and beg for permission to go to the bathroom. That's not education, that's conditioning, and now you're grown and you wonder why your paycheck barely covers rent. You wonder why the rich keep getting richer while you're stuck in the same cycle, paycheck to paycheck, debt piling up, no time, no freedom, no options. It's because the system trained you for mediocrity. You were never meant to escape. You were meant to consume, obey, and die quietly. Everything around you is designed to keep you poor. The media bombards you with fear. The entertainment industry keeps you distracted. Social media makes you insecure, and the banks, they hand you credit cards at 18 and tell you it's normal to be drowning in debt. It's all part of the trap. The system wants you broke because broke people are easy to control. A man without money can't walk away from a job he hates. A man without money won't stand up to power, he'll fold, he'll keep quiet. He'll trade his self-respect for job security. That's not a life, that's slow-motion slavery. They don't want you to think like an owner. They want you to think like a dependent. They want you to celebrate weekends like it's freedom, when really it's just a short leash. 2 days off in exchange for 5 days of servitude. That's the bargain you were taught to accept, and because everyone around you accepts it too, you think it's normal, but normal is broke, normal is controlled. Normal is miserable. Break free from the illusion. Start by asking the right questions. Why don't schools teach financial literacy? Why is entrepreneurship treated like a fantasy while employment is treated like salvation? Why is risk considered dangerous, but staying broke for 40 years is considered responsible? Because they fear independent thinkers. They fear strong men who question authority. They fear wealth in the hands of people who weren't born into elite circles. They know that when you have money, you become powerful, you become mobile, you become impossible to manipulate, and let's be clear, this isn't about conspiracy theories, this is about reality. The world runs on systems, and if you don't learn how to navigate or build them, you become a pawn. A replaceable part, a number in a spreadsheet. That's why the most powerful thing you can do in today's world is build yourself. Mentally, physically, financially, learn Hive, value skills, master communication. Learn how to sell, learn how to create, build, and lead, because the system is designed to reward producers and punish consumers. You see, most people wait. They wait for the government to fix things. They wait for inflation to stop. They wait for a raise, but the system wasn't built to help those who wait. It rewards those who take, those who move, those who refuse to be victims you want out of the trap. Then stop playing by the rules that were written to keep you trapped. Start your own game. Start building streams of income that aren't tied to your time. Start surrounding yourself with people who are awake, who are building, who speak the language of growth, not gossip. Every second you spend conforming, compromising, and complying with a broken system is a second you're digging your own grave. You don't escape by hoping. You escape by evolving. Start treating your mind like a weapon. Study wealth like your life depends on it, because it does. Read books the system doesn't recommend. Follow people who are living the life you want. Take action when others hesitate. Make decisions that scare you. That's how you grow. You don't win by staying comfortable. You don't win by playing it safe. You win by realizing the game is rigged and deciding to outsmart the entire board, because once you get rich, the rules change. The banks treat you differently. The world opens up. You stop asking for permission. You stop begging. You start commanding. You build. You own. You lead. That's the goal. Not just money, but power. Not just escape, but domination. So stop following the path that was built for sheep. Break out, build your own path, learn to see the system for what it is, a machine designed to keep you average, and commit to becoming the exception. The man who understands the system and refuses to be ruled by it becomes unstoppable. And the man who error in message stream read, right, discipline is the foundation of every great life. You can have all the ambition, all the dreams, all the talent in the world, but without discipline you will fall short. Every single time. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. It's showing up even when no one is watching. It's consistency over hype, execution over motivation. You think you need motivation to get started. That's the first sign you've already lost. Motivation is temporary. It fades. It disappears the moment life gets uncomfortable. But discipline is permanent. It doesn't care if it's raining, if you're tired, if your friends are partying, or if your emotions are weak today. Discipline says, I said I would, so I do. Most men will never be rich. Not because they're not smart enough, not because they lack opportunities, but because they can't control themselves. They trade their future for short-term comfort. They sleep in when they should be grinding. They eat junk instead of fueling their body. They scroll social media for hours instead of building a skill. They run from hard tasks and chase easy dopamine. Discipline separates winners from everyone else. Talent means nothing if you're lazy. Potential means nothing if you're distracted. Discipline is what takes you from average to dangerous. It's the invisible force behind every champion, every millionaire, every warrior who took control of his life. Want to build a business? You'll need discipline to show up when it's not paying you yet. Want to get in shape? You'll need discipline to train when it's cold, when you're sore, when you don't feel like it. Want to be mentally sharp? You'll need discipline to read, learn, reflect every day without fail. Discipline isn't sexy, it's not flashy, it's repetition, it's sacrifice, it's late nights, it's early mornings. And that's why most people run from it. They want ease, they want instant results, they want to do 5% of the work and get 100% of the reward. That's why they stay broke. You need to become obsessed with structure. Build a routine and stick to it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Wake up early. Train your body, fuel your mind, work on your craft, kill distractions, repeat not for one day, not for 1 week. Every single day, there will be days when you don't feel like it. That's normal, that's human, but that's also where discipline kicks in and says, I don't care how you feel, we still execute. That's where strength is built. Not in your comfort zone, but in your resistance to it. Discipline is brutal at first. It's uncomfortable. It demands sacrifice. But over time, it becomes freedom. The man who has discipline doesn't need external motivation. He doesn't need validation. He's driven by purpose. He doesn't need to be forced to work. He wants to work because he understands what's on the line. Without discipline, you're just reacting to life. You're at the mercy of your feelings, your urges, your laziness. You're like a leaf in the wind, going wherever life blows you instead of steering your own path. But with discipline, you become the storm. You dictate the pace. You set the standard. Discipline builds momentum. And momentum builds confidence. The more you stick to your word, the more power you gain. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you sharpen your edge. You become reliable, dangerous. Respected, not by others but by yourself, and that self-respect, that's priceless. That's the fuel for everything else. Do not rely on moods, rely on systems. Your goals don't care if you're tired. Your legacy doesn't care if you're having a bad day. There's always someone else working harder, studying more, sacrificing more. And if you're not disciplined enough to compete, you will be left behind. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being relentless. Missing one day doesn't ruin you, quitting does. Skipping a workout doesn't break you. Making excuses every time does. Life will test you. It will throw pain, chaos, failure at you. But if you're disciplined, you'll show up anyway. You'll keep swinging, you'll keep climbing. That's the difference between men who win and men who wonder what could have been. You want a powerful life. You want financial freedom. You want strength, respect, success. Discipline is the entry fee. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your results. Discipline is the key that unlocks every door. So kill laziness, starve your distractions, make a plan and follow it without compromise. Live like your future depends on it, because it does. Discipline isn't just part of success. Discipline is success. Your last name is your legacy. It's not just a label on your ID card or a signature at the bottom of a document. It's your bloodline, your ancestry, your responsibility. Everything you do as a man, every decision, every risk, every sacrifice, is either elevating that name or disgracing it, and that's a weight too many people ignore. You see, most people are content with survival. They grow up, get a job, pay bills, and die. That's the cycle they inherited, and that's the cycle they pass on. But you're not meant to be just another link in a weak chain. You're meant to break that cycle. You're meant to build a name that echoes through generations. You owe it to your bloodline to rise. You owe it to the men and women who came before you, who struggled and fought and endured so that you could stand where you stand today. If your ancestors could see your life, what would they think? Would they be proud? Or would they see a man wasting potential, chasing distractions, making excuses? Every time you skip the grind, you dishonor the people who didn't have the options you have. They worked in fields, in factories, in harsh conditions. They fought wars. They sacrificed for the future they could barely imagine. And now you sit here with internet access, unlimited knowledge, global opportunity, and you want to play it safe. You want to be average? No, you were born with a duty, a mission, to elevate the name you carry, to be the one who said, enough is enough, it ends with me, poverty ends with me, struggle ends with me. Weakness ends with me. I build the new standard for my bloodline. That's your role. You're not just living for yourself. You're paving the way for everyone who comes after, your kids, your grandkids. Your legacy, whether they rise or fall, will depend in part on the example you set and the empire you leave behind. Let that sink in. You are someone's ancestor. What are you doing about it? Because it's not about buying Lamborghinis or living in mansions for show. It's about building foundations, systems, wealth that lasts. It's about building men, not just businesses. It's about protecting the people you love, not just emotionally, but financially, mentally, and physically. If your family ever gets in trouble, they should call you. If they need guidance, they should look to you, not because you're perfect, but because you're powerful, reliable, built. They should know that no matter what happens in the world, you've got them. Because you made the decision to rise when others stayed still. That's legacy, and legacy doesn't start with luck, it starts with sacrifice. You may have to be the one who suffers in silence while you build. You may have to be the one who works 16-hour days while others relax. You may have to miss the parties, ignore the critics, and grind through the loneliness. That's what it takes to be first in your bloodline, to win, to lead, to change everything, and don't expect applause. Don't expect people to understand. Your mission isn't for them. It's for your future family, for your last name, for that deeper sense of purpose that most men will never feel because they're too busy chasing temporary highs. Let other men waste their lives trying to impress strangers. You impress the version of you 10 years from now. Make him proud. Impress your unborn children. Make their lives easier. Make their lives bigger. Make your last name so powerful that it becomes an armor they wear with pride. You want motivation. Think about your son hearing your name one day and knowing exactly what it means. Not because someone told him, but because your actions built that definition. Think about your daughter walking into the world fearless because her father set a standard of strength, leadership, and certainty. Your last name should open doors, not close them. It should command respect, not sympathy. So if you've been lazy, wake up. If you've been soft, harden up. If you've been inconsistent, lock in, because you're not just fighting for money. You're fighting for meaning, for legacy, for blood. You were born to be the one who turns the tide. The system might have kept your father poor, it might have broken your uncles, it might have made your cousins soft, but you are the one who refuses to accept that fate. You are the one who trains, who learns, who builds, who never folds. Your last name is your brand, your business, your mission. Make it legendary, absolutely. Here's a powerful, no-nonsense conclusion in Andrew Tate's signature tone and style. Direct, motivational, and legacy. Focused, designed to tie together all 5 expanded keynotes of the speech titled Refuse to Die Broke. Conclusion: refuse to die broke. Let this be the moment everything changes. You've heard the truth, not the sugar-coated lies the world feeds you to keep you soft, broke, and obedient. The raw, brutal truth: being broke is a choice once you become aware. It's a mindset, it's an identity you either accept or destroy. You can keep playing the victim, blaming the system, complaining about your circumstances, or you can stand up, look in the mirror and say, I'm done living like this. I refuse to die broke. Because in this life, no one cares how hard it is. The world doesn't owe you anything. If you don't build your own power, someone will use you to build theirs. If you don't control your time, your money, your energy, someone else will. You now know the game is rigged. You now know the system was built to keep you poor, but knowing isn't enough. Knowledge without action is weakness. You have to move, you have to execute. You have to develop iron discipline, master your mind, and train your body. You have to use every second like your legacy depends on it, because it does. The world respects results, not excuses. It respects strength, not potential. The man who chooses to dominate rather than survive. The man who decides to rewrite his bloodline, he becomes untouchable. So, what will your story be? Will your children inherit debt, struggle, and silence, or will they inherit power, pride, and freedom because you made the sacrifice they didn't have to? This is your shot. Your moment, your warning. Refuse to be another statistic. Refuse to die a slave. Refuse to let your last name fade into obscurity. Refuse to die broke. Get up, get focused, get dangerous, and build a life that demands respect. Not just for you, but for generations to come. Now go earn it.